Today, we're going to peel back the layers on something we all use every single day, but maybe don't think about too much: the invisible security that protects our entire digital lives. You know, every time you send an email, shoot a text, or buy something online, you're flinging information across the entire planet. But what if I told you that the internet, at its very core, is basically a global postcard system? Seriously. Anyone along the delivery route could, in theory, just pick it up and read it. It's just wide open.
And check this out. Meet the opponent. Now, this could be an eavesdropper, a hacker, or some malicious software. But the point is, they're always there, this invisible presence just sitting on the digital highway, watching the traffic go by, watching your traffic go by. So this opponent can do 4 basic, nasty things. Interruption, that's easy. They just snip the wire, your message disappears. Interception is just listening in, reading your postcard. Modification is when they actually mess with your message while it's on its way. And fabrication, that's the sneakiest one. They forge a postcard that looks like it came straight from you. So the big question is, how on earth do we stop them?
Well, the first line of defense is kind of obvious, right? Secrecy. If the opponent can't actually read our postcards, who cares if they get their hands on them? And this takes us to the ancient art of writing in secret.
That art has a pretty cool name: cryptography. It's all about how we scramble a message. We take our normal, readable message, that's called plain text, and we turn it into what looks like total gibberish. And that gibberish, that's called ciphertext.
The basic recipe here is surprisingly simple. You've got 3 things: your original message, the plain text, a secret piece of info, which we call the key, and some kind of process that uses that key to turn the plain text into ciphertext. The key, well, that's the secret sauce.
And this is a perfect, super simple example. The Caesar cipher. Yeah, the one Julius Caesar actually used, is a basic substitution cipher. The key is just +3. All that means is for every letter in your message, you just swap it with the letter 3 spots down the alphabet. So H becomes K, E becomes H, you get it. Now, it's really easy to crack, but it shows you exactly how a key can totally change a message.
Modern methods, like something called the Data Encryption Standard, or DES, are way more complicated, but a lot of them work on this same basic idea. It's called symmetric encryption, and it's called symmetric because you use the exact same shared key to both lock and unlock the message.
Okay, so this sounds amazing. Our postcard is all scrambled up, nobody can read it. We've solved the problem, right? Well, not exactly. Turns out there's a massive hole in this plan.
Just think about it for a second. For your friend to read your secret message, they need the secret key. So how do you get it to them? If you send it over the same open postcard network, the opponent just grabs the key. It's like sending someone a locked box and then mailing them a second postcard with the key written right on it. The whole system just falls apart. This is called the key distribution problem.
For the longest time, this was a huge roadblock. And then, back in the 1970s, this totally game-changing idea came along that solved the problem in a really clever way. It meant we had to start thinking about keys completely differently.
And this is it: public key cryptography. Instead of one shared key, now you have 2 keys that are connected mathematically. One is your public key. You can give that to anybody. Think of it like a mailbox with an open slot. Anyone in the world can use it to drop a message in. But, and this is the magic part, only you have the second key, the private key, that can actually open the box and read the mail.
So let's just put them side by side. The old way, symmetric encryption, is super fast, but sharing that one secret key is a huge pain and really risky. Public key encryption, on the other hand, is a little slower because the math is more complicated, but sharing keys is suddenly easy. You could shout your public key from the rooftops. An opponent can grab it all day long, but it's totally useless for reading messages. It can only lock them. Problem solved.
Okay, awesome. Our postcards are now sealed in these unbreakable digital mailboxes. But we've just uncovered a whole new problem. How do we know the message wasn't changed a little bit on its way to us? And more importantly, how do we know for sure that the message is really from our friend and not just some imposter who found our public mailbox slot?
This brings us to the second giant pillar of digital security: authentication. This isn't about secrecy anymore. This is about trust. It's about proving you are who you say you are.
So authentication is the service that answers 2 really critical questions. 1, did this message really come from the person who says they sent it? And 2, has this message been messed with in any way since it left them?
One of the main tools we use for this is called a Message Authentication Code, or a MAC. And honestly, the best way to think about a MAC
is like a digital version of an old-school wax seal on a letter. It's a tiny, unique fingerprint of your message, created by mixing the message with a secret key that only you and the other person have.
Here's how it works. First, the sender takes their message and that shared secret key and they run it through a special function. Out pops this unique little code, the MAC. Then they send the original message plus this new MAC. When the receiver gets it, they do the exact same calculation on their end with the message and the key. If the MAC they calculate matches the one they were sent, then the seal is unbroken. They know it's the real deal.
So, there we have it, our two essential building blocks. We have ways to keep things secret, and we have ways to build trust. So let's see how these fit together to create the secure internet we all rely on.
I think this slide just nails it. It all comes down to these two pillars of security. On one side, you've got confidentiality, making sure no one else can read your stuff, and that's solved with encryption. And on the other side, you've got authentication, making sure it came from the right person and wasn't changed, and we solve that with things like MACs.
And these two ideas, they're not just theory. They are the foundation for almost everything. They're what puts the S in HTTPS when you're browsing a secure website. They're the core of huge, complex systems like Kerberos that big companies use to manage who gets access to what. It's all built on this.
So we've gone from wide-open postcards to this amazing system of digital mailboxes and cryptographic seals. But, this is a never-ending cat-and-mouse game. As our computers get more powerful and everything gets more connected, new threats are always going to pop up. Which leaves us with one last question to chew on. In this constant race, can our cryptographic walls ever really be high enough?